Hey guys, this is Aaron from Geeky Development and welcome to our XCode tutorials, where in this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to customize and create launch screens within your project. Now I already have my project set up. It's a simple single view application and it's continuing on from where we added application icons within the project. Now what launch screens are is a completely new thing to iOS 8. Now don't get these confused with launch images, where again very similar to how we add app icons in. Now launch screens is an interface for every kind of type of screen we have for our launch image. So as you can see here, when you create your project, no matter if it's for Objective-C or Swift, you're going to be generated a launch screen.xib. Now this basically is our launch image. Now the reason it has it in an interface is because we don't have to add all these individual images into our project. So very much like how we had our app icon, we'll just go to it here, we have all these images. Now launch images work exactly the same and that was perfectly fine. But they were large images and they could, take up quite a bit of memory in your application as a whole. So these launch screens, these interfaces here, let you create dynamic kind of views and they replace the launch image and load up fully and completely. So if I just quickly show you now, if I just choose a smaller iPhone, for instance, let's go to the iPhone 5, you can see this launch image, launch screen has app icons and then the copyright of the developer. So we go to build and run, and as you wait for it to load up now, you'll see once it does, in place of a launch image is now our launch screen.xib. And there, as you see, as it loads up. Now, as you can see that the kind of screen is not a particularly same size as say like an iPhone or an iPad. Now this is taking advantage of the constraints which we kind of learnt about in our previous tutorial. If you want to go check that out, make sure you do. But there you go. And if I changed it to, let's say, the iPad, say, and then built and run that, you can see as that loaded up pretty quick then, you could clearly see how it was kind of set up. So again, takes advantage of constraints, and no matter what screen size we are running on, it will resize itself, as you see the blue lines there with the constraints. It will resize itself and stretch it and kind of configure itself to how basically the application size is and works like that. So it can really reduce the amount of memory than it used to have with launch images. Now don't get me wrong, launch images are still perfectly fine and you can still use them. If you still want to use launch images, you simply go to your project name, and where we have launch images source, simply click use asset catalog. By doing this, if we migrate it to images there and go into our image catalog, you'll see now within our launch image we now have a set of images that we can implement into basically our project. Now if you want to learn to do this, we have a previous tutorial on how to add launch images with loading screens, as they used to be called, into your project. But if I just simply go back now and change it simply back to don't use asset catalog, so this means we'll now start to use our launch screen. So this is completely new, again a new thing for both versions of languages in your project. So how we will customize this is very simple. What we're simply going to do first is get rid of all the objects, as we don't really want them to be in there. And let's say we're going to make something completely up now. So we click on our view then, and let's say we want our background to be a different colour. Maybe we want it to be, let's say, yellow. That's completely random. We could add in some labels. If I place one at the top here, I'm going to drag it out now. Space it out, there you go. Center it, let's have the text white. Change the text. This is a launch screen. Center it, yeah, it's white. Change the font maybe. Let's go for something custom, bold. Make it stand out a bit. Bring the size up. There we go. So we got our kind of label in there. We can add other stuff as well. Let's take this label and let's place it, let's say, maybe a bit down the screen. I've got this icon on the desktop here. Let's drag that in, import that into our project, and let's add an image to our launch screen. So we find the image view here, place that in there. image, our name of our image. Now I'm just going to change the mode of it so it fits in to the aspect fit. There we go. So it resizes itself perfectly. And let's place another label in there. And let's repeat. Let's just basically repeat it so we have multiple things there. Okay, so once they're in, not a very pretty looking launch image, but again, we're just seeing how it works, adding in some objects and just showing you what you can basically do with it. You then want to simply highlight all the objects and kind of go down to our resolve auto layer issues and add the missing constraints. By doing that, it adds the constraints and pins it around the view and resizes it, stuff like that. So no matter what screen size we run on, so if I highlighted it and changed it to iPhone 5.5, it resizes all the objects on the screen. It's got iPad full and runs it perfectly. So again, it's like having one image for all devices, which is brilliant, really. It's it's a huge feature, and again, reduce the memory of your application, because in the past, even myself developing launch screens and stuff like that, if you're trying to make a good one, they can be up to like 1-2 megabytes just for one, and you've got to create 4 or 5 all the different types of screens. So this is perfect for developing applications. So now we've done that, then we can go test it out. So we've added our constraints, and if you want to learn about that again, you can check out our previous tutorial on constraints. We're going to bring up the iPhone 6 Plus simulator, and let's build and run and see how it works. So it's pretty big, this whole simulator, so I'll just scroll to the top and just wait for it to load, as it may be pretty quick when it loads up. So there you go, it's pretty quick there and brief. It's only pretty quick because our application doesn't really take long to load up. If our application was full of data and took long to load up, then the longer our launch image stays there. So you can see it fit in beautiful with our constraints. So we can change it to the iPad and build and run that. Now we have to be pretty quick again to look, as it will load really quick. Again, just completely didn't even see it because it loaded too quick. The iPhone was a bit slower, so let's try a different size. As you can see there, it's pretty quick again, but I'll try it once more. There we go. So again, you can see it resizes itself, loads up pretty quick again, but if you had a bigger application, it'll take longer. So that was just a quick little demonstration there, just to show you how you can add multiple objects within the launch screen. So you can make it more dynamic than originally like a solid image. So we've got some image views in there, we have some labels, a bit of text and stuff like that. And make sure you use the constraints so it resizes. If you don't, then when you go to build and run it, it loads up, it will be out of proportion. You only see like certain bits of it on the screen. So make sure you use your constraints. So that's simply how you use and create launch images, or launch screens as they're now called, within your project. Again, you can use launch images, you just follow back from how we did it to change it up to launch images to add those images in. But this is a new step forward, and hopefully it can save you guys a lot of memory within your application. Hey guys, just before we click off this video, I have a few more bits of information that I'd love to share with you. But just before I do, if this tutorial helped you in any way, make sure you give it a big thumbs up, and if you haven't, make sure you subscribe and follow us on social media. All the links will be in the description below. If you want more up-to-date and in-depth tutorials on iOS 8, XCode 6 and the Swift language, then make sure you guys enroll in our complete iOS 8 and XCode 6 course. The links will be in the description below. And if you guys want to learn on the go, make sure you download our XCode tutorial application from the App Store, where you can get much more than what we offer on YouTube. Again, links for this will be in the description below. And if you guys want to kick back and blow off a bit of steam, make sure you go check out my gaming channel, where we have a lot of fun, play with a lot of friends, and generally just have a good time. So make sure again you go subscribe to that channel. But once more, I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.